All right, well, we're live.
Oh, hello.
We're live. Hello, hello, hello. So, welcome to the Katalyst Meet the Mastermind series. This is probably one of the most favorite things that I get to do with my day when I get to do it is have conversations with members of our Katalyst Mastermind community, amazing, intelligent, brilliant, beautiful women who are out here doing amazing things in the world for themselves and for their communities. So we sort of pull the curtain behind what's happening at Katalyst and what you all are doing in your lives. It's an opportunity that I think I look forward to learning more about you selfishly, and also, giving you all the opportunity to share more about what you have going on in your world and share more about your journey. I like to say it's less about sort of the nitty gritty of business and consulting and all of that, because there are a lot of great podcasts out there that focus on that. I like to focus really in everything we do kind of on the person, on the human, and on your story and on your journey, because I think that that is often really inspiring for people. And so I am sitting outside. I just realized I'm getting bit up by mosquitoes, so I don't know if I will be outside. But
Yes.
today we are with the incredible Najmah Ahmad, who has been with Katalyst since day one. I don't even know how we came across each other's radar or how you found out about us, but I'm just so grateful and just wanted to initially just sort of give you your shout out for just rocking with us and supporting me and the community. Gosh, almost 2 years now, almost
Yeah.
2 years. Yeah,
That's
so. Um,
insane.
and
Yeah.
I, we'll get into it, but we have a lot of growth that's happened both with each of our businesses and some exciting things that we're hoping and planning to do together. So let's just get started with you and giving you the space to just say hello and introduce yourself and a little bit about your work.
Absolutely. Well, first, I'm so excited to finally be doing this. I can't think of a better way to end the year. I got your lovely out of office prep for folks that I'm going to make my own. So it's great to spend this last week of kind of work with you and talking to you finally. But you said, you don't know how we came across each other or how we kind of got into each other's world. And we've talked before, but it's nothing but the ancestors, Auntie Shirley, the fact that you're Katalyst and I'm the Chisholm Group. It was kismet for us to connect and for our paths to cross. And so, just to introduce myself, my name is Najmah Ahmad. I'm the founder and CEO of the Chisholm Group. The Chisholm Group, as I just mentioned, is named after in honor of the great honorable former Congresswoman, the late Shirley Chisholm. And so just a quick background about me and how I came into this work. The Chisholm Group is an economic justice firm committed to doing the work at the nexus of education and workforce. And so working in communities to really think about how are we preparing young people for the world and how are we making sure that they have opportunities once they are transitioning into that world. And so a lot of folks talk about career readiness and the future of work and things of that nature. And the future of work is here. It's right now. We look at education in this country, and if we're being honest, it is at a point of collapse. And so we're at this point in this inflection point to really think about what type of world do we envision? What type of world do we really want to build? And so the Chisholm Group works with communities to answer those questions and to get to the building of it all. And so I've been working in education and workforce for over 15 years now. I used to, I've been on my own healing journey for quite a while, about 5 years now. And so, as you all know, we've gone through a pandemic. We've gone through a lot of different changes. And prior to the pandemic, which is crazy, going into 24, that was 4 years ago, the start of it all, right?
So crazy.
It's so crazy. I'm like, how?
It's like a black hole. Like,
I just start doing math. Like, no, something, we went through a portal or something. We shifted timelines. But back in 2020, I really started to think about, as a lot of us did, what do I want? What do I actually care about? What actually brings me joy? What does joy feel like? And in my own healing and talking to my therapist, and she's like, you're going to have to go work for yourself. And I was like, no, I want to change the system from the inside. And so as I'm doing this work on education and workforce at the national level, And really, in 2020, we have this racial reckoning, right? And everyone is talking about Black Lives Matter, and everyone's talking about anti-racism. And then very quickly, at that same point, they're sending out, books like reading How to Be Anti-Racist and Ta-Nehisi Coates. I'm not sure that anybody read them, because then about a year later, it was like, we were just kidding. We actually don't want to talk about any of this, right? But being who I am, and often being one of the only Black women in leadership, if anyone knows me who's watching this, that was not something that was going to be acceptable to me. And so, again, talking to my therapist, she's like, you're going to have to go work for yourself. And so a series of events that really showed me that was true, and that I was going to need to really think about what it was that I was trying to solve outside of the system that I was in. Mm-hmm. And so that really led me to starting the Chisholm Group, like I said, and really meeting this moment of change. But as I was doing that, I was still looking around, and I was still one of the only Black women in these spaces as a consultant. And I knew from the very beginning that I wanted other people with me. Mm-hmm. I started to think about, and in my healing, really, as I opened this up, thinking about the ancestors, really thinking about that ancestral way of being, thinking about Black Wall Street, which has been kind of my guiding light in this work, and how can we actually come together and pool our resources. So you'll see at the center of the Chisholm Group logo is the symbol for Ujamaa, which from the Kwanzaa tradition is cooperative economics. So cooperative economics is at the center of everything that I do. And so I wanted to start coaching other Black women and women of color to quit their jobs and come and join me. And so last year I started one-on-one coaching. And so far I've helped over 15 women either start their own consultancies or expand the work that they're doing. So that's I'll wait to get into the details of what I'm doing now, but that's an overview of basically what the Chisholm Group is and how I've gotten to this point. And the work and the coaching that we're doing, again, at the center of it is healing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, so much I want to. I think I'll start with the interesting observation, and this is a realization that I had this year, that for a lot of us consult, and this is what I said this on a past one. I think I was with Latrice Sneed when we were doing our Meet the Mastermind, and I was like, consulting is kind of like the gateway drug to liberation. You have to take one step. You have to do. You have one sort of catalyzing moment. Perhaps this decision that you decide to kind of step out of traditional systems. And you, like me and like others in the group, then realize that like that can't be the only thing, and you're looking for other ways to support people in your community, sort of using your gifts and using your, I guess, zone of genius, right? And so you added coaching to yours. So could you talk a little bit about like that decision? Was it just a sort of natural thing for you to add that piece to the puzzle? And then I'll talk a little bit about the other topic that I think we want to get into.
Yeah, so I think your favorite quote and mine is Toni Morrison, the function of freedom is to free someone else, right?
Yep.
When you get these jobs and you get these degrees, right? Your job is to go back and to empower somewhere else, paraphrasing a little bit. But that was it. It was, I got to, when what we're talking about right now, and I think we really need to be clear, I've been to a few different events for Black women entrepreneurship, and they've been wonderful. But something I've been hearing is, people are saying, how do I get out of imposter syndrome? How do I, just self-care my way to happiness, to being happy? And so a lot of the folks on the panels, the advice is, well, get you a group of friends and surround yourself and, go on walks and do meditation. All these things are very important, right? But what we're talking about is removing ourselves from a system of capitalism that has been so deeply entrenched in this country, that is literally designed to grind us, right? We talk about the grind. And when we grind, we take away, we strip away from ourselves. And so we have gone through these systems our whole lives, particularly as Black women who have been told, you know, we have to be twice as good to get half as much. And so really thinking about how insidious that is to us, as little Black girls who were told that we're always going to have to be perfect. We're always going to have to work twice as hard. We're always going to have to be perfect and the smartest and the best and the brightest in the room, but also you're going to get half as much. You're not going to be valued, right? And so imposter syndrome isn't something that's just in our heads. It's like the real life example. It's racism, right? That carved these neural pathways. And that's why I talk about healing so much. These are neural pathways that are carved in our heads that are telling us that we're going to have to do all these things and grind and work so hard, and we're still only going to get half as much. And we were just like, okay, I guess, right? But a lot of folks, you know, elder millennials like myself, Gen Z, we got burned out, and we were like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. I don't believe it. Somebody is lying to us, right?
Yeah.
And I strongly believe that voice that says this ain't it was the ancestors. They were like, listen, we toiled, we worked ourselves literally to death because we had to.
Mm-hmm.
But we're at a moment now where it's like they want different for us. And so that's why that when I understood that, when I was going through my own healing, when you get out of capitalism and when you kind of get out of these systems that, you know, and I was like, I'm woke, right? I'm progressive. Like, I'm not, you know, blinded by capitalism and these systems and patriarchy. But then when you get out of it and you start to see your achievement addictions and you start to see, you know, how you were making yourself small and how you were thinking about, you know, like I said, this imposter syndrome, like only if I could fix my brain, but not really looking at it as a systemic sickness, right? That we have to actually heal from first. You can't self-care your way out of that. You can't, you know, get some good girlfriends yourself out of that. You need to go to therapy, right? And so that's one of the first things I tell my clients. I'm your coach. I'm not a therapist. Get a therapist, because this is going to tap dance on all of your stuff. And the fact that I had been in therapy for like 3.5 years before I started working for myself, I know was transformative. And so the healing is at the center of my coaching. When I started to feel better, I started to look better, right? I started to get a trainer. I started to really take care of myself because I wasn't so focused on the grind anymore or trying to fit into these systems, that I was more concerned with who am I? What brings me joy? What am I grateful for? And how do I center those things? And then how do I help other people to understand the same? Because like I said, the function of freedom is to free somebody else. So
Yeah.
that's what led me to the coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, continuing on this theme of healing, you know, because I've had the privilege of being around all these women in our community, and sort of, and I don't mean this in a sort of negative connotation, but seeing all the baggage that we come with, you know, into sort of this entrepreneurial spaces and all the unlearning that has to get done, and how delayed your process can be if you haven't done that for yourself, right? And I think a lot of people may have the privilege, you know, without that baggage of being able to go and explore and have confidence in who they are and who they've been told they, you know, the world is catering to them from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas coming into these spaces, like with that kind of heavy burden of recognizing or even subliminally absorbing that somehow there's something else we're supposed to be doing, or we're not supposed to be here, or, you know, so I think the healing is incredibly important. I've been on my own healing journey for the last couple of years, in therapy with coaching. And I will say that once you begin to sort of chip away at some of that buildup, that's been passed on generationally, you know, there are doors and portals, I think, that open, more quickly than I think open if we're not at that place, if that makes sense. So
Absolutely.
hear you 100%. And, I hope that those who are women of color, in particular Black women who are considering this journey, understand the importance of healing as part of that process. And I think you probably agree, like seeing some of the conversation that happens within our community, like it's real stuff. Like, you're going through some real deep things that we need to deal with, right, in order to get where we're trying to go. So I appreciate you kind of highlighting that and focusing it as the center of your work, because it's incredibly important. And I think it's a continuous process. It's not like, I can check the box, I'm healed. Like,
if only, right? If only. Good support,
it
right? But
creeps in and shows up in ways that you don't even expect, in moments where you're just like, what is going on? Oh, this is my baggage, or this is, my experiences kind of coming up and preventing me from being who I need to be.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk. We have, like I told you, these 30 minutes fly by. We have about
how much time do we have?
10 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about what's next for you. So, consulting is part of your work, part of your puzzle. Coaching is part of your puzzle as well. You're embarking on sort of a new offering and a new sort of coaching experience that I'd love for you to share a little bit about.
Yes. So all the things, and I'll try to hurry up because I know we don't have a ton of time. But so first, I want to say I have loved being a part of the Katalyst group. I think it has been so critical to have this community, like you said, where we can come together and be like, girl, have you thought about this? Because it can be isolating. It can be so isolating. And we think about, and I think this is important for people to know when you're going on this entrepreneurial journey. My family didn't know what I was doing before. I think they all thought I was like a teacher for a long time. Back in the day, my grandma thought I worked at the White House. And I was like, okay, sure. Speak that into existence. So going into entrepreneurship, people for sure don't have any idea what you're doing unless they've been on this journey. And so it can be incredibly isolating. And so that's why I know how valuable Katalyst is on this, entrepreneurial walk. And so that's why I've been here and been engaged and been involved. And so going into what's next for me, so still doing the consulting, and that is growing in the sense that I'm now creating a co-op. When I talk about Black Wall Street, creating a space for Black women, CEOs and founders, for us to all come together and share and contracts. And so we're in the building block phases of that. Looking to have about 10 to 15 powerhouse, just dope Black women of color I've been talking to over this past month or so that will be coming on board starting in January. So we can really start to, like I said, think about what society are we envisioning? How can we come together as like this team of dope Avengers? Someone said Advengers, and I might get us t-shirts made. But really to solve these problems that we know inherently, that we don't necessarily have to read a white paper about to know some of these solutions. So that's one thing that's happening. The part that we're partnering on that I'm so excited about is I am transitioning my one-on-one coaching into a class. And so the Unbought and Unbossed Academy, word to Shirley Chisholm again. And so this will be a group cohort model, and I've developed the curriculum, really, again, centering mental health at the center of it. I'm so excited. I'm going to announce this probably next week, but we've brought on board a financial therapist. It's a Black woman. She's been a therapist for over 10 years, and she focuses on the financial piece. So she's really going to be diving into generational trauma around finances. Every person in the cohort will get 3 sessions with her, really build that sustainability plan. Where are your fears coming up when it comes to setting your prices? Where, are you thinking about when you're moving forward? How are you going to make sure that you are pouring into yourself? So again, like I said, I knew that folks needed a therapist, and so I'm bringing one on board. Everyone will also get a website. Through this coaching, the Unbought and Unbossed Academy, everyone will get 6 hours of live coaching with experts. They'll get monthly one-on-one sessions with me. And the part that I'm so excited about, they will get 6 months in the Katalyst Mastermind group. Yay! Woo! So once they go through this coaching, they have their website, they have their mission, their vision, their services, they talk to this financial therapist, they've really set this foundation, they're ready to quit their jobs, they set that date, they'll be able to then transition into this beautiful community where the work will continue, right? Because like you said, things come up every day. Stuff that I thought that I was, had a good handle on, it'll pop back up with a different costume on. It's like, okay, where's my community, right? And so we'll have that. And so I'm so excited for this next.
Perfect alignment. Thank you for suggesting it. I think it's a beautiful kind of way for us to evolve the work that we're doing and our work together. And I think my ultimate goal, I always say, is like creating ecosystems, like self-sustaining ecosystems for us, that we're not having to hustle out here and sort of beg the external person who's controlling the purse strings and who's controlling the puppet strings to give us things. Like, we are actually figuring out how to create things for ourselves and figuring out how to partner and work with people who have sort of that same philosophy and kind of way of existing. So I'm grateful to you for this. And I meant to rewind. I mispronounced your last name. So
what did you say? I don't even remember what you said.
I said Ahmad. You said Ahmed.
Oh, it's Ahmed. Yes. Some people say Ahmad, but I pronounce it Ahmed. But thank you. I appreciate it. I wanted to, before we hop off though, because I'm going to be sharing. Oh, we still have a little bit of time. I'm going to be sharing this. I wanted you to talk about Katalyst and the exciting things that you have that you feel comfortable with sharing in store for next year, just so people can get an idea of everything that they'll be getting with our partnership.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. So the things that have been going well, we're going to continue with. So, we have a monthly coach that we bring in who does she does a coaching practice and method called active learning coaching, or action learning coaching. And she'll continue with us. So people get that monthly opportunity to connect with her. And also it's just a good way to just be vulnerable and learn about the other people in the community. People show up and present sort of challenges that they're dealing with. And we get to support them through working on some action items, basically for them to, resolve and kind of get to the next place. So I'm really excited about that. We have our monthly sort of informal get together. So this is our space to talk about any and everything, what's going on both in your business and your lives. Because I think the one thing that makes us really different from other kind of group consulting things that are out there is that, like, we really get to know each other. Like, I have built in opportunities for us to know what's going on in people's families. Are people moving? Just what's going on in their lives, because I think that's the foundation for relationships. And, I want this to be more than just a professional space. I want this to be a human space. And I think, that's been really valuable for people to just kind of have a space to just exhale and breathe and chat and come together. And then we also have pop-ups, basically, where we bring in, similar to yours, experts on various subjects, so people can let us know what they're interested in exploring. I'm interested in doing actually a money series next year, a 3-part money series, where we're unpacking a lot of money matters issues. So less about maybe the psychology of it and kind of trauma around it, and more about understanding what your number is and how do you get to that place to know what you need to be bringing in. So looking at incorporating some kind of series. And then the thing I'm most excited about is events. Like, we started during COVID. We started in 2020, my business in 2020. And then we started doing the mastermind in early 2022. So people were still in the mindset of being behind their computer screens. And last year we had our first sort of just very informal kind of happy hour meetup on a rooftop in DC that you came to. And I'm just like, we're craving this. And it's time for us to be, reincorporating some in-person opportunities back to engaging with each other. So we have a few really exciting in-person opportunities coming up next year for Katalyst members primarily and first. And Katalyst members will get discounts on all of the events next year, which I'm really excited about. We're exploring some corporate partnerships to be able to help me manage sort of the revenue that I need to make be able to make it sustainable. But also I wanted to make sure that when I bring Katalyst people together, it's about fun and frolic, number one, because we're growing and we are always doing everything for everybody. And I just want us to be able to come together and exhale, where we're kind of elevating each other, and then just getting space that's not super planned, not, you have to, create this thing by the end of the thing, but about just carving space for CEOs to come together, Black women in safety and comfort, to design, what it is that they want for their next phases. So we have a couple of those planned in the year, where we can look forward to having some in-person touch points with each other. Getting some fabulous access, and then I'm going to incorporate some bougie elements just because I want us to be taken care of, and that's just part of what I like to do. So it's really good. It's an evolution, I think, of Katalyst and the brand and the company, but I think all rooted in connection and community and empowerment and joy and frolic and fun. So
I
yeah,
love it. Yeah. I just wanted to throw out, I don't know if you mentioned the RFPs too that you share. I think I've gotten probably 2 contracts through RFPs that you shared in the Katalyst group, and I'm constantly sending things to people that I know. So I think you've definitely been able to tap into that flow where people are constantly sending you things, or you're scouring, or however you're doing that. But I think that's an invaluable, piece that Katalyst offers as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's my goal, is for us never to have to hustle for work again, like I've said a million times. So whether through my networks and connections with EDs and other kind of budget holders and leaders at organizations it's actually really interesting. Like, people are starting to reach out to me, which is cool. So I'm trying to figure out how to navigate that and how to manage that. But I think that's what I've always wanted. I want to be seen as someone who has a connection, and resources, and to just connect people with what they need. And I don't want us to be hustling, because most of us have 20, 15, 20 years of work experience out here at, very high levels at organizations. And we all have, deep Rolodexes of connections, and we're all meeting with people every day. So if an opportunity is not right for us, or if we need to bring someone else on, I just want them to know, again, thinking about like the ecosystem kind of concept, that, we have this ecosystem of people that can serve your needs. And I think the caliber of members blows my mind. Like, chief technology officers, former EDs, former like lawyers and attorneys, people who work for USAID, like international development. It's just incredible and baffling, and just, just beautiful, the people that are attracted to our space. So it's a really, I don't know, it's a really special place. So thanks for giving me space on this to talk about. And I think your members who, participate with us for the time that they're with us are really going to get some incredible value out of it. It's just going to be an extension of, the nitty gritty stuff that they get with you, and then sort of the kind of community, really, and, full humanity, self-care, healing, as they continue on their journey. So it's a perfect marriage, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited. Definitely.
So we are at time. So tell people, how can people reach you? Like, what's your website and all that kind of stuff?
Yes. So you can go to my website, thechisholmgroup.org, www.thechisholmgroup.org, and reach out, send me an email there. You can also find me on LinkedIn. That's one of the easiest ways. Najmah Ahmad, Najmah. Last name is Ahmad. I'm sure when we post this, we'll tag all of my information. But those are the 2 best ways to reach out, and about anything, even if it's just, you're at your job, your 9 to 5, and something in this conversation resonated with you, just reach out and we can have a conversation. A lot of the women, like I said, or the purpose of the Chisholm Group Academy is to work with women who are still full-time and really thinking about, okay, I want to do something different. And I help you to think about what that something different can be. So don't feel like you need to reach out and have your business plan ready and your ideas. I want you to come, curious. And that's pretty much the only prerequisite. And just real quick, I also work with women, Black women and women of color, to be able to use your PD funds as well for the coaching. So I have a couple of the clients that will be in the Chisholm Group Academy who are looking at this, and I can help you with the language, but thinking about it in the sense of executive coaching and really using an entrepreneurial mindset in your work. Your 9 to 5 is another client. That is your client, right? And so helping you to think about, how do you still maintain your joy, center your power, even if you are in a 9 to 5. So we could talk about that as well.
That's perfect. And thank you for mentioning that, because I think people sleep on that, like the PD dollars that they have. encourage people who come to our retreats to explore that option as well. And a few women have been able to get portions of, stuff paid for with those PD dollars. So that's a beautiful and I think very important and powerful suggestion. So if you haven't done that, consider PD for
reparations. It's reparations. This is towards your reparation, right?
Yeah,
somebody else to do it, right? So yeah, as much as I can.
Thank you. It's been great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
And so we'll put this on in our community on YouTube and share with the links and everything with you, and you'll be linked all throughout. So you can do whatever you'd like with it after that. So thank you so much, Najmah. Good luck with everything. I'm excited to hear for both of us. All right.
I will talk to you soon.
Bye. Bye.